What's up, guys? I happen to have a battle against a familiar name. Some of you from ye olden days may recognize this name, but he used to upload a lot of 4th gen back in the day, and we still had each other added on our social networks and whatnot, and he did upload some 5th gen too. I haven't really seen him much on the scene for 6th gen, but because I have him added on my my Skype and my Facebook, I do know that he does still play Pokemon. He had some things going on. He had some downtime during winter break, and I was like, you know what? We should definitely play each other just for the shits of it. And he was like, yeah, you know what? That sounds like a pretty cool idea. So we brought stuff. As you can tell, it's kind of Yu-Yu-y looking for the most part, with a couple of things that are like maybe a little bit too powerful for Yu-Yu. This is before the meta had really settled, so we were just like, hey, you know what? We kind of know what each other's playstyles are like. We'll just play something like a notch or two below OU and just call it a day. So I make a massive, like, I overpredict so hard, it actually just ends up crashing and burning. I predicted his Nidoking coming in right there. But Porygon 2 comes in, traces my Dry Skin, and just doesn't take any damage from the Surf whatsoever. So it was like, I predicted so hard. I should have just gone for T-Bolt. You know, there's no need to overpredict that hard on the first turn. But it's okay. You know why? I have a Specs Clawitzer on my team. And you know what Specs Clawitzer does? It punches holes in people's teams. This thing is terrifying. If they don't have, like, an Azumarill, if they don't have something that resists all 4 of Clawitzer's common Mega Launcher moves, the thing's gonna hurt. So look at how much this does to a Porygon 2. That is a Porygon 2. That is, like, one of the bulkiest motherfuckers out there. And an Aura Sphere does, like, 85% to it. That was really cool. But I know the switch is really obvious, so I'm actually just gonna go ahead and switch out into my my Heliolisk. It turns out he didn't switch. I knew he was gonna try to respond to it somehow. Since he saw he was faster, he ended up going for the Discharge. It worked out for me either way, just because the electric types can't get paralyzed anymore. Discharge wouldn't have paralyzed this guy, and I just ended up going for a Focus Blast to take it out. So I was in a pretty good spot right there. I do still have use for Heliolisk because it's fast. I don't really see anything else that's going to set up hazards immediately soon, but worst case scenario, even if he does pull out a random Spike or a Stealth Rocker out of the bag, which I'm completely forgetting if he has at the moment, it does still make some useful death fodder. It's got a pivot move, which is why I'm hesitant to throw it away right now, especially because he still has Staraptor. He does bring in Durant, though. Durant is a huge, huge threat to my Avalugg just because, you know, he's got the Rock Slide, he's got the Iron Head. He's got a lot of stuff that I really don't feel like messing around with, so I figure, you know what, I'll just fodder this thing off now. As much as I wanted to hype it up and just be like, yeah, I'm going to save this thing until the end game and it's going to clean out the back. No, it just dies. It just dies next turn. I don't know why I hyped that up that much. But I do have a Scarfictini. I do have U-turn on it. I should have U-turned right here. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, you know what? He doesn't have any V-Create, anything to take a V-Create on his team left. And it turns out he still has a Jellicent, which really doesn't take that much from V-Create at all. So the fortunate thing is I can definitely switch out of here, go back into my Clawitzer, because it's not going to take much from a Scald. Will-O-Wisp is not going to work on it. It doesn't... Excuse me, Will-O-Wisp or a Toxic are not going to work on it. A Scald is really not going to do that much. It does not give two shits about Taunt because I'm running nothing but offensive moves in the first place. And I learned something very important about this battle after today. Guys, if you're having trouble with Jellicent, slap some specs on that Clawitzer, hit that bitch with a Dark Pulse. You know why? Because this thing one-shots it from here. So he's going to recover up to full. I'm assuming he's just a regular max HP, max defense variant. I don't know about special defense, but this is what dreams are made of right there. I've never seen a Jellicent's health go down like that quickly, that much, from a not stab super effective move. It just blew my mind. Clawitzer's great. If you're not using one, go get you one. I feel like I say this every time a Pokemon like gets more than 2 kills in my game, but seriously, this is my advertising for this poke. This thing is my fucking stamp of approval. On top of this, right here, he overpredicts. He actually expected, I think he expected my Avalugg to come in there, which this proves right here to be very, very necessary damage. If there's anything you want on an Absol, you want to be able to out-prioritize it and to also knock it out with your priority move, because anything outside of Mach Punch, if it's at full health, it'll probably just knock you out immediately after, because this thing hits hard and has good priority. but it's really fragile. So I figured, you know what, I'll stay in, I'll go for a Dark Pulse. By some free chance, if I live, hey, you know, I got that. If I die, then I have a safe switch into Avalugg immediately after. So that's what ended up happening right there. I got the damage off first, though. And he ends up going out into his Durant. I don't have anything to really touch this thing because I think I have Rapid Spin and whatnot on it. But I decided to switch out into my Victini. He predicts this very nicely and goes for a Rock Slide instead of an Iron Head. Both would have been super effective, but he had some really good mutual ground on that one where he just would have hit me super effective with both of them. Not as hard, but still another hit I'm not going to want to take a lot of. He does bring in his Nidoking here simply just to sack it. He needs something to take a V-Korea, and he's realizing how important Durant and Staraptor are to his team. So he decides, hey, you know what? Nidoking's really not going to pull a lot of weight for me, especially because he still has an Absol and just some other pokes that outpace it as well. It was the slowest one of the things he had left, which is why he just threw it away like that. So speed is really the name of the game right here. I do know that his Staraptor is Scarfed. I believe I am a Scarf Adamant Victini, so he would have been able to outpace me, take out all 11 of my HP from there with the U-turn regardless. So he's just going to go ahead and U-turn back out into the Durant, which is still proving to be a pretty big-ass threat. I did not bring the right wall to deal with this thing. And I'd like to get some damage off before I try to go for Sucker Punch with my Mega Absol, which I still have lying in the wings, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. That is my Mega on this team. This was back when I was really, really desperately trying to make a case for it, saying, hey, you know what? It's really not the worst Mega out there, and while it's not the worst, it's definitely one of the bigger disappointments. It's still just as fragile as ever. He also gets a flinch on the Iron Head. I guess that's fair. That's really the only hacks that was happening. So, you know, hacks is hacks. Right here, I actually predicted his switch into, what did I predict? I don't know. I guess I expected him to just sack something. I don't know. Maybe go into Staraptor. What the hell else did he have left? His Absol? He could have sacked his Absol. I just didn't want the stat drops as well, just in case he was Adamant Staraptor. But it turns out it's a double down. I'll take that. The Durant's gone, which means I no longer have a threatened Absol because I keep my original speed before I Mega Evolve, and I haven't gotten the chance of bringing it in and Mega Evolve yet. So I'm actually going to go for the Mega Evolution right now. I think he ends up going for a U-turn, actually predicting me to switch, and this is pretty big because not only do I live the U-turn that he ends up going for, I get off a nice chunk of damage, and Staraptor normally just runs all offensive moves if it's choiced, so I live it on 2. And this part's really freaking important because it's Mega Absol versus Mega Absol. We're both 31 speed, you know, positive speed nature. So that was a speed tie right there that I actually ended up winning and ended up knocking him out with thanks to the previous damage from Dark Pulse, which is why the Clawitzer is actually the MVP. Absol does clean it up with 2 Sucker Punches, but wow, Specs Clawitzer. I had forgotten how good that thing was, and I definitely feel the need to bring it on some more teams. So I barely won that one by like 2 HP or something like that. I don't know. It was something really ridiculous. It was a really fun game, though. Outside of the Iron Head flinch, which honestly I had no business bringing Avalugg in the first place, so I don't care. That's the game. It was a little bit of a quicker one. It was something I had lying in my folders, and I was like, wow, I don't think I've tossed up a battle against Alex in a really long time. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, you know what? I didn't even use my Go-Goat, just because it would have gotten flattened by Staraptor and Durant, so I feel the need to mention that. But yeah, that was a game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you're definitely welcome. Leave a like rating, comment, subscribe, and do your thing. That should do it for me out of today. I will definitely see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.